Good morning! So it's Friday today and that means it is BOOKTUBEATHON Day 6 and I've started out my Day 6 by picking up the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I've just gotten to about 50 pages into the book and so far it's looking like it's going to be a really interesting read. This is a book about a writer called Juliet who is suffering with writer's block and is sort of struggling to come up with some inspiration for her next novel. But by chance she starts receiving letters from a man in Guernsey who starts telling her about a literary society that he was part of during the Second World War when Germany had occupied Guernsey, and that sort of gives her the inspiration, I think, for her next sort of novel. But the book is written in letter form, and so you're getting letters from a lot of different people and you're getting so many different perspectives, which I'm finding is making the book really interesting because there's so many sort of different ideas and perspectives coming into it. So as I said, I'm about 50 pages in and I'm just going to do a little bit more packing for holiday and then pick up the book a little bit more. It's only quite a short book as well, 250 pages there or thereabouts, so it shouldn't be too difficult for me to finish off today. So I'm pretty sure I'm finally finished with all of the packing that I needed to do for today, and we've just also been out for a little walk. So now that we're back, I'm just going to grab myself a cup of tea and a slice of the vegan lemon drizzle cake that I made yesterday and sit down for a while and get some more reading of my book done. It's just about 6 o'clock in the evening now, and as you can probably tell from all of this mess behind me, I've spent the last couple of hours just making sure everything is sorted for our holiday tomorrow, and just making sure everything is packed. But in between all of my packing, I have managed to read 100 pages of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society, and I've now just got a little over halfway of the book left to read for the rest of this evening. So not a lot has really happened in the book so far. It's definitely more of a character-driven book than a plot-driven book, but I am finding it sort of really enjoyable. It's just sort of a nice story to read and I'm enjoying it. So far we're kind of getting the backstory of the Literary and Potato Peel Society and how it came to be and all of the different characters that were a part of it, and I'm really enjoying sort of meeting all of those characters and finding out about their history with the Literary Society. So I'm now actually just heading over to my dad's house because that's where I'm staying tonight before we go on holiday at about 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So I'm going to pick up the book once I get there and hopefully finish that off later on this evening. So it's about 10:30 in the evening and I just finished up reading the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society and I really enjoyed this read. So this was a book that isn't really very action filled and, as I said, is a very sort of character driven book, but I found it really interesting, particularly because it's sort of a very eclectic mix of characters within the book, and because it's written in letter form you're getting so many different perspectives, which just means that you get a really interesting view on all of the different characters. And I also thought it was interesting to see how all of these seemingly different characters come together in one society, and all in all it was just a really sort of nice, happy read and I really enjoyed it, and I'm now really looking forward to watching the movie version. So the next book that I'm going to be picking up, which is also going to be the last book that I'm reading for the BOOKTUBEATHON, is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. But I'm not going to be picking that one up this evening because, as I said, we're going on holiday tomorrow and we're setting off at about 3 o'clock in the morning, so I really need to get some sleep now. But I'm planning to pick this up on the plane tomorrow and hopefully get quite a lot of it done whilst travelling. So at the end of BOOKTUBEATHON at Day 6, I managed to read another book, which brings up my total to 6 books that I've read so far for the BOOKTUBEATHON. And that book was made up of 240 pages, which brings up my total page count now to 1,858 pages read. So I'm going to leave the reading there for this evening, but I'll see you tomorrow for the final. Good morning guys. So it's about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday the 5th of August, which means it is officially the final day of the BOOKTUBEATHON. Although I'm not actually going to be doing any reading right now because, as I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and the only reason that I'm actually up is because I'm heading to the airport to go on holiday. So I'm probably going to wait until I get to the airport and then do some reading whilst I'm travelling. But the book that I'm going to be picking up once I get there is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. So I'm really excited to get started on this whilst I'm travelling today. now and we've just arrived in Croatia. But I actually ended up being super tired on the flight, seeing as I'd been awake since about 2:30 this morning, so I ended up doing a lot more sleeping than I did reading. But I did manage to get to about 175 pages through radio silence, and I'm now so glad that I decided to pick this book up because I've seen so many people say it's their favourite of Alice Oseman's novels, and so far I'm really enjoying it and can definitely see why people enjoy it so much. So the book is following a girl called Frances who's like a really sort of high achiever and is aiming to go to a really prestigious university, but she doesn't really have that many friends and sort of struggles socially, and then she meets another guy called Aled who, like her, also struggles socially and is going to a prestigious university, but he starts to doubt whether that's actually something that he wants to do, which is obviously a really interesting concept. And then there's also a mystery element in the sense that Aled's twin sister Karis used to be friends with Frances but has now gone missing, and I think Frances knows why, but she's not sort of told anyone about it yet, so that's something like it's going to be a really interesting read. For now we're just going to explore the hotel that we're staying at and sort of get to grips with the area, and then I'll probably sit down in the sun and do some more reading. Outside exploring the area and swimming in the sea, but we've just come back to our apartment now and we've got a couple of hours before we're planning on heading out for dinner, so we're just going to sit down on the balcony. I'm going to pick up Radio Silence and hopefully get a good bit of it read before we go out for dinner. A couple of hours reading on the balcony and I'm now 300 pages into Radio Silence with about 100 pages left to go until the end, and I'm really enjoying this story. It's the kind of story where I really don't want to put it down, but at the same time I kind of don't want to rush it because I'm enjoying it that much. I don't want it to end, but either way I am hoping to finish it this evening so that I can meet the challenge of reading 7 books during the BOOKTUBEATHON. But for now I'm actually going to go out for dinner and then hopefully finish up the book when I get back. So I'm actually filming the morning after BOOKTUBEATHON has finished, because although I did manage to finish Radio Silence at about 11 o'clock in the evening last night, because I'd been up since about 2:30 in the morning, I was just so tired and far too tired to film my wrap up, so I just went straight to sleep. But I did finish Radio Silence and I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was such a sort of interesting and relatable book that sort of looks at the prospect of university for children who are in like sixth form and teenagers sort of deciding where they want to go next and what's the right decision for them, which is definitely sort of a really interesting and relatable topic. And there was also sort of really interesting discussion of like friendships and sort of struggling to fit in school, which again was really interesting, and I just really liked all of the main characters. I thought they were interesting, likeable, and I just enjoyed this book from start to finish. I'm definitely going to pick up some more Alice Oseman in the future, but I can definitely see why people say this is their favourite of her books because it was a really good read. So at the end of BOOKTUBEATHON I did manage to read 7 books in 7 days, which I'm so happy about, and because Radio Silence was 404 pages, I managed to read a total of 2,262 pages throughout the full BOOKTUBEATHON. And I had such a good time doing a full week of reading as much as I possibly could, and I've been trying to think about what my favourite read of the BOOKTUBEATHON was, and I have to say it's probably between Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, which again was just a really sort of relatable YA contemporary about a sort of first love story, but there was also so many interesting topics thrown in that were very sort of heartwarming and also heartbreaking at times, but it was just such a good book and I really enjoyed it. And then the other contender for my favourite book would have to be The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, which is a sort of gothic classic, and it was just so interesting. It was a very sort of bizarre concept, but a really interesting read, and for a classic it was very short and sort of easy to get straight into, whereas sometimes classics can be a little bit harder to sort of plunge yourself into the story, so I really enjoyed that one as well. But I had such a great time reading all of the books that I picked up for BOOKTUBEATHON, and I'm definitely going to be participating next year. So that is the end of BOOKTUBEATHON day 7, so let me know in the comments how your BOOKTUBEATHON went. I think I'm going to be putting together BOOKTUBEATHON days 6 and 7 in one because I didn't get all that much footage for both of them, so this will be a bit of a longer vlog. But yeah, that is the end of the BOOKTUBEATHON, so thanks for watching!